Fellas, mornings and welcome. I'm Night's Angel. Thank you for joining me, and this is just a folf on the road. Well, another day, another dollar, you know? But with current market inflation, you know, I think it's down to like 10 cents. Anyway. Was tempted to just start rambling on about, well, whatever. You know. I think I might anyway. Anyway. It's noisy. Another noisy morning. My headphones keep getting caught on my sunglasses. And it's like 6:15 on a Friday morning. Traffic is intermittently busy and it is a bit chilly. Now, I honestly do have a question. Well, it's not so much a question in of itself, but I guess it is. I don't understand the whole concept behind being triggered. I can understand the concept of being offended, but at the same point in time, being offended also means that you have a very narrow mindset and you dislike having anything interfere with that concept. So thus you end up getting offended because something outside of your range of comprehension is introduced in a way that you dislike. But being triggered doesn't really mean anything to me because it's just like, okay, I dislike what this person says. Moving on. Whole thing about being triggered. You have to make a scene about it. You gotta cause drama. Okay. Life is hard enough. Regardless of where you stand, life is hard enough. We don't need any more drama. I prefer to live life as a bad comedy. Puns, bad jokes, and dirty ones seem to fill up a lot of space with me. Probably why I don't end up in some sort of cringe compilation. Because it's bad enough, it's funny. So there's no point in trying to make it cringe when it's already cringe. I do it myself. Anyway. Yeah, I'm a bit moody this morning. I did not want to wake up. I hate morning shifts. And my screen is completely black. And you can't even see the sky. But then again, it's 6-something in the morning. Daylight savings time is still a thing. And there is not a whole lot of light out here. If it wasn't for the fact that I couldn't make sure I was in focus all the time, I probably would reverse the camera. So, but I don't feel like fighting with this thing. I'm lazy. I'm doing this all off with a cell phone. But yeah. I mean, 3 biggest taboo subjects. Politics, religion, and sex. And when you really think about it, it's pretty much all one thing. It's just how it functions. I mean, politics, you have one idiot talking about something over another. They're arguing about it. They can't seem to agree upon it. And when it comes down to making other people decide, it's usually the candidate that looks the best, or the individual that looks the best, or fits some criteria, wins. But let's face it, U.S. politics is, well, a mess, and it's usually the lesser idiot, for the most part. Religion, kind of the same deal. Everybody gets to pick and choose what their flavor is, and then they fight over whose is the best. Makes absolutely no sense to me. It has little difference than politics to me. And of course, sex. Same deal. Everybody has their preference, and they're all complaining that everybody else's preference is wrong. Or they're sitting there trying to cram their preference down everybody else's throat, saying you have to accept it. That just shows the concept of being narrow-minded. I mean, the concept of being narrow-minded quite literally is you cannot accept things outside of certain parameters, either due to the way you were brought up, or through a series of personal choices that have led you to negate anything other than your mindset. Because let's face it, following that criteria, everybody is narrow-minded, myself included. But it falls under the idea that people say they're open-minded when they're really not, because they want everybody to accept everything the way they do. And for the most part, most people don't want to accept anything outside of their own mindset. There's a lot of traffic. I am sorry for all the background noise. Mostly because I'm doing this on a busy highway. Well, maybe not highway. Well, technically it is a highway. It's called a highway. Anyway. Alright. Narrow-minded. I'm easily distracted this morning. I probably need more coffee. Coffee. Anyway. I can sit here and say I'm open-minded, but truth is, I'm like anybody else. I'm narrow-minded. I just do what I can to understand other people's perspectives. Yeah, I may not agree with them. I may not agree with everything somebody says, but I at least give them the benefit of the doubt. I give them a chance to give their piece, and when they start trying to cram it down my throat, I sit there and go, I'm not forcing my opinion on you. Why are you doing that to me? Now we're dealing with some traffic here. I am not a morning person. Anyway, people want to sit there and say they're open-minded when they're really not. And the ones that are pretty much told to sit down and shut up. That's the unfortunate idea of the world. You gotta be loud, proud, and in everybody's face. That's not how I do it. Probably why I don't have like any subscribers. Because I generally keep my opinions to myself. Generally. Or I present them in a manner of that actually makes sense, where I'm not just sitting there saying you have to accept what I say. It's a matter of, this is my opinion. Do with it as you will. Because you're going to do so anyway. I swear, people need to learn how to drive. I think I just made my own point. But then again, one of the reasons why I don't drive is because, well, I don't have a license. That's a long story in of itself. I'm not going into details. But yeah. It just continues on and on and on. I can sit here all day and talk about how people need to actually be able to open themselves up to other ideas. And no, I'm not saying that anybody has to change their outlook on life or anything like that. It's a small thing. It's just like, okay, we have a difference of opinion. We can discuss this. We can try and be civil about it. But then again, anybody who ends up watching political news knows how adult politics work. It's pretty much the same thing as a schoolyard scuffle. Somebody's always shouting. Now, that's one of those things that gets me. Full-grown adults acting like little kids trying to get their way. Yet we sit there and tell little kids that they have to behave like adults. Okay, what? That's kind of counterintuitive. I mean, teach kids responsibility, yeah. Teaching them when's a good time to act like an adult and when's a good time to act like a kid, that's one thing. Because let's face it, being a furry, I like dressing up in a costume. Not for some sick, twisted pleasure. No, I just enjoy dressing up in a costume and acting like an idiot. Yeah, I know, I don't need a costume to act like an idiot, but that's part of the thing. It's part of the charm of being a fursuiter. It's not about, it's just being a completely different character. Granted, even when I'm in suit, I act the same. And yeah, given the fact that I have a perception impairment, which gives me a very minimum, if any, depth perception. Makes it kind of entertaining to see me wander around in circles with a confined headspace and limited range of view. The last fursuit that I made actually was really good about my range of view, because I had actually designed it to compensate for that. Problem is that I was rushing through it, and it turned out like shit. And there's my profanity. Well, I know I said I wasn't going to do it. Oh, yay! You saw my first split second. I know I said I wasn't going to do it, and I'm probably being a sellout right now, but I'm trying something different. A little experiment, you might say. So here's the experiment. Since it really hadn't been, since by not saying it I hadn't really been getting anywhere, so let's see what happens when I actually do say those 3 words. Let's see if I can actually make this entertaining. Well, you like what I had to say, even if you don't, share your opinions, share this video. Somebody might be able to get some form of entertainment out of it. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, share it, what have you. Ramble about it. This, that, or the other thing. Put your comments down below. Push buttons. Subscribe, what have you. That whole spiel. I'm not good at this. So, that being said, let's close it out. Thank you for joining me. I'm Knight's Angel. This has been a Folf on the Road. Until next time, I hope you have a better day. Peace.